So the last ones are a sum and this time also a difference of cubes. Okay, so I'm going to do this in terms of A and B again, and we'll just talk about how when you're trying to do these problems, you want to figure out what the cube root is to do these ones. Cube roots might not be as easy to figure out as some other ones, but if I have A cubed minus B cubed, the multiplication that provides that is A minus B. So there's a linear term times A squared plus, you are going to take whatever these two things are and multiply them together, AB, and then plus the last term squared. So the first term has a subtraction, and the quadrat, or the trinomial, is all addition. Okay, so the sum of cubes, A cubed plus B cubed. The only difference is that these two signs are switched around. So the first factor would be A plus B, and then the trinomial would be A squared. We're going to multiply those together again, minus AB, and then plus B squared. And if you're asking yourself why, that's purposely why I did the opener that we did. You hopefully saw it when you were doing the multiplication. Basically what happens when you do those things is you get like two terms to cancel. Or your ABs, if you will, to cancel. Okay. So let's just do an example of each. So if I asked you to do or factor, this is my rule. If I asked you to factor or use a polynomial identity to factor x cubed plus 216. Okay, now I do recognize that some of you don't know your cubes as well as you know your squares, so I'll quick show you how we do cubed roots on the calculator just to remind us. So the very first thing we have to figure out is I have to figure out, this is obviously x cubed, right? I have to figure out what cubed gives me 216. To undo that, you use something called the cubed root, or the same thing as the 1/3 power. So if I took 216 and I raised it to the 1/3 power, and if you're using like the older calculators, you need a parentheses. So I'm going to go like 216, raise it to the 1/3 power. That's going to tell you what number multiplied by itself 3 times is 216. And what do you get? I get 6. Because 6 times 6 times 6, or 6 cubed, is 216. Okay. So I'm going to write this as x cubed plus 6 cubed first. Why? Because then I can use this little rule up here. Okay? All right, so what's the first term going to be? It's going to be x, because this is plus, I'm not going to use this one, I'm going to use this one. It's going to be x plus 6. And then I need x squared. I need a subtraction. And then this term is always going to be if you would take these two things and multiply them together. So 6x in this case. And then what would my last term be?
Plus 36.
Plus.
Wait, no, plus.
No, you were right. This squared. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Plus this squared. So 36. Okay. Let's try a really more complex one. Okay. This is a challenge one. we're going to try 27 x to the third minus 343 y to the sixth. What? Whew. All right, now we gotta figure out there's gonna be not just a variable here, but also a number here. So I'm gonna first try to rewrite this as a cubed and b cubed. Can anyone tell me what a is? 3x. This is like 3x quantity cubed. Okay? Right? Isn't 3x times 3x times 3x give me 27x cubed? Okay? Ooh. 343. Figure out the 343 part. Let me know when you got it. Ella, what'd you get? 7. Okay. Can you figure out the y part? 7y to the what? Good job. Because if I would cube that, I'd do 7 cubed, which is 343, and y squared cubed, which is 3, okay? We're doing a challenging one, I know this. So this is my a, and this is my b. All right, let's use the identity from above. So the identity from above says I'm going to start by doing a minus b. So my first factor is going to just, this is like my a, and this is my b. It's going to just be 3x minus 7y squared. That's my first factor. Okay. For my second factor, if I'm looking up above, this has got to be the first term squared or multiplied by itself, okay? If I multiplied 3x by itself, what would I get? 9x squared. Good. The middle term is just these two terms multiplied together.
So 21xy squared.
Good job. 21xy squared. And then the last term is the last term squared or multiplied by itself, so 49y to the fourth. I wanted to do an easier one and a more difficult one. Okay, so that's difference of cubes. Like I said, you're going to do it on your homework today. If you need to ask me questions, you'll ask me questions. Difference in sum of cubes, I am not assessing this year, but the ones from yesterday I will assess. Those will be on tests and quizzes, okay? But I just want to expose you so you know there's this thing called difference in sum of cubes out there, okay? Okay, so